Okay, good morning. All right. First thing, your calls and everything, the hospital was very surprised. I've never seen a man so loved. By the time it was over, like everybody who called said, tell him I love him, you know. And by the time it was over, the nurse was saying, I love you too. Yeah. Okay. Here's what I want to do today. I want to address the issue of meditation. Meditation and going to sleep are kind of the same thing. The issue is being able to stay awake and not to drift into unconsciousness. That is the issue. Now, what does this require? It requires discipline, a certain kind of discipline, a soft discipline. I don't know, I was watching something one day somewhere. Have no idea at the moment. But I was watching, I know. Court TV, one of my favorite things. And there's a guy who's divorcing his wife, and he's there before the judge, and he's like this. I thought, that guy's a martial artist. Because only martial artists mistake discipline for rigidity. He stood there in front of the judge, and he was so rigid. His mind. But you see, that's not discipline. Discipline that it takes to come to the greater portion of oneself requires a softness. It is not forced. It is soft. It is done because the individual realizes the importance of doing it. Now, quite often, with people, when I talk to people, they say, I want to know. I'll say, okay, you want to know, all right. Well, here's what you have to do. So they begin trying to do it, and they push too hard. They try to do it in the way they've done everything else in their life, kind of like a bull in a china shop. You know, just it's like martial arts. One of the things I found as a martial artist was the softer, the better. Didn't have to overpower anybody. In order to move just enough to be out of the way and to deliver back was enough. And you don't have to deliver with you deliver with correctness. There are physical laws involved. What you have to do is apply the laws of motion. The force, the energy, is a result. It is the same thing with this. You have to apply certain laws of being soft and accepting. That's the key. We can see many of the things that go on in our heads that prevent us from being the persons that we say we want to be. We can see it. And we say, yeah, I see that. But we don't accept that with a softness. And that softness is surrender. We accept it with ego. And ego just keeps you rigid. You have to accept it. I was talking to somebody the other day about certain experiences I had as an athlete. About playing a football game. And after the game, everybody was going to the dance. All I wanted to do was go home and go to bed. Because everything had been left on the field. Everything. Everything. I heard this noise. And I said to my buddy, what was that? He said, it was the gun. The game is over. It's over? We just started. What do you mean it's over? What's the score? He said 42-0. I said, who won? He said, we did. Okay. But what that is total absorption into what you're doing with a soft focus that allows you to receive information and understand the information that you receive. It must be soft. Because if it is not soft, it means that you're bringing to that situation something that doesn't belong there. Something out of your past. Something out of the way you see things. You don't want to bring that to any new situation. You want to bring wide eyes, an open mind. It is the same thing with everything you do. If you focus on what it is you're trying to achieve, what is it? What are the elements here? And become focused in that, not pushing, not straining, you achieve it. Now when we talk about meditation, meditation is the same way. You must accept what you find and accept it and see it for what it does. Now, we've talked about you don't want to fight your mind, but your mind, out of control, is the enemy. You know how it is, all those things you say, well, I'm not going to do that anymore. And the next thing you know, there you are doing it again. It's kind of like masturbation, you know. I'm not going to do that anymore. Yeah, right. And next thing you know, nobody's looking. Nobody but you. It's that kind of thing. So, what does, now let me make a statement here. You create your own reality. You, no one else. You. So there's no need of saying anything about what someone else did or what they did. No. This is a just universe. The only way it can be just is when it gives you back exactly what you deserve. That's the only way. We call it the law of cause and effect. Some will call it karma. Although some of the ideas about karma are not so good. We think karma is a bit negative thing. It's not. It's just you get back what you put out. If you walk on the beach barefoot, you make barefoot tracks. Not good or bad, just the way it is. If you wear shoes, you make tracks of shoe prints. You wear gym shoes, you make tracks that are the imprint of the gym shoes. Not good, not bad, just what it is. So when we look and we are seeing these things happen, we must accept those things and be humbled by them. You got to go, oh man, that sucks. Wow, okay. Whew. That softens you. That softens you so that you don't fight your own mind. See, this is something that you can only overcome by accepting, not by fighting it. Not by fighting it. If you fight it, you spend your time fighting the air. Fighting nothing. And that's weird, you know. That's really weird. Here you are with this big fight going on, and no one's fighting but you. You must accept what happens inside, the things that you do inside. You accept them. Now there's no struggle. So you move to the next level. This is why when you truly meditate, you start to know things you didn't know before. You start to have visions of the future, visions of things that, wow, you never really believed in before. Visions of things within the depths of yourself that you just couldn't bring together with your mind. The only way you can bring them together is with your experience. And then the acceptance of what you find. This is what meditation does. This is what it does. This is why one of the exercises that you were given, I'll go back to the statement, going into meditation is like going to sleep. Now, the exercise that has been given is, when you first wake up, write down the first 5 things that come to your mind. Guaranteed, in some point in time, you will see every one of those things happen. Because in your sleep, you go through various depths of consciousness. One of those places in your consciousness is where events coalesce before they blossom into this level of reality. We'll have a dream about something or someone, and all of a sudden, there they are doing exactly what you dreamed. But you didn't want to hear it because, everybody knows you can't know what's going to happen until it happens. Well, that's also true. Because when you see these things, what you see is the probability that it's going to happen. If all things continue in the same line, this will happen. But at any point along that line of events, something changes, something else happens. So there is no predestination in the way we normally think of predestination. There is the probability. But it's like playing poker. If you got 4 aces, the probability is you're going to win the pot. There's a possibility you may not. But the probability is you're going to win. That's the way the events stack up. So in meditation, in order to go into those levels of oneself, you must remain aware. You can't go to sleep or go out of consciousness. How do you do that? I can't really tell you that. That's a part of your practice. There are many things I can tell you answers to, but it will make no difference. Because you have to recognize it. You have to do the work. Quite often people want me to do the work. Tell me this. So I tell you. What difference will it make in changing the energy within you? Now let's go back to that. Let's talk about the habits that we have. Memories are stored within your body as tensions. The memory of birth is stored within your body as a tension. You are what's the word? Not cognizant. What is the word? You're a conscious being. You are conscious. You have always been conscious. You are conscious. So everything that has ever happened to you at any point in your life is stored within the body. Now, what happens is we see something similar to what we have experienced right away. I know what that means. No, you don't. Because what you see is something similar. Aha, things changed, didn't they? It is similar, not the same. Every moment is fresh and new if you approach it that way. But if you drag all this stuff from the past, what happens when you try to relate to that new person, that new situation right here in front of you? What happens? You miss it because what you're dealing with is something back here. Those of you who were with me when I taught martial arts, I taught you how to flow, how to take slow movement, how to fight slowly. The reason for that was so that you can see the difference in each and everything and learn to respond from the point of view of not knowing, but to see. That way you don't get caught. If it's slightly different, you see that it's slightly different, and you will respond to it in a slightly different manner. If someone's throwing a punch at your head, and you're going like this, and they kick you in the chest, well, you weren't paying attention. You weren't paying attention to the whole being, the whole newness of that situation. The habits in your body. Every living being is a junkie. Every living one. Why? Because it is the nature of your mind to be repetitious. To repeat. I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. This is this, this is this, this is this. I can't give up my mind. Sure you can. It is not the drug that we are addicted to. It's not the alcohol that we are addicted to. It is the thinking process that we are addicted to. The thought process. Just pay attention to what you think every day. And just kind of go back and say, well, how long have I been thinking this? Chances are you've been thinking that ever since you were like that. Come on. Now, that is the problem, that it's there and we respond. Relax. Let it be what it is. It's a habit. That's all it is. It's a habit. Nothing more, nothing less. If it is just a habit, why are we so uptight over it? Relax and accept the habit. You are conscious. You are intelligence. You can make another choice. And when you make that other choice, your life changes. Your life changes. When I was doing martial arts, I would have new people come in, and on several occasions, I've had people walk up to me and say, "You're not 6'3". I know that. What do you say? Well, you were described to me as about 6'3", about 200 pounds. It's like, huh? Yeah. Well, my point of that is people saw me differently than I really was. The attitude was there. I didn't care how big you were. I'd pay. The bigger the better. I like to see that look on those big guys' faces when you drop the hammer on them. I like that look. But my point of that is that you may not physically achieve your ideal of yourself, but as the energy moves, those around you will perceive the energy differently and perceive you differently and respond to you differently, thereby changing the conditions of your life. So, as you go into meditation and these things happen, watch them. Understand that they are true and release them. Just let go. Don't hold on. Say, okay, I accept. I accept this is the way I have lived my life. That will move away. But the moment you grab onto it and start struggling with it, you have it. It doesn't have you. You have it. It's only a thought. It will, like a cloud, it will come and go. Like most thoughts in our heads, they come in and they go out the other ear. They will come and go if you don't, you let it go and you will feel a release in your body. Where it has been held on to in the body, you'll feel that release. Some of you probably felt it almost like someone pulling a thread, and it's kind of like your muscles will quiver and release. It's the tensions. So as you meditate, just aware and just watch. Become the observer, because that is what you are. You are not that which is observed. You cannot, I repeat, you cannot look into your own face. Can't do it. You look and say, well, I can look in the mirror. That's a reflection. That's reversed. You cannot look into your own face. If you can see it, it's not you. That's the point. Who is doing the seeing? You are. Ultimately, we begin to relate to that, and all of life changes. All of life changes. Life becomes fun. I was on, what did they call it? MICU? I always wanted to go with MICKEY. Everyone up there was laughing. I'd have 4 or 5 doctors every day huddled around laughing and lecturing them, which I thought was great. Now you look. You have to listen to your patients. Don't always think you know what they're saying. It was cool. And he began to say, this is the happiest man I've ever seen. I was having a good time. If I was going to die, I was going to go out laughing. I was going to go out having a good time. Anybody see the movie All That Jazz? Where when he died, he went dancing up the stairs to heaven, or down the stairs, where he was going. Just kind of danced off. Well, you see, it's not that serious. Living and dying is not that serious. You'd make it that serious. Life is too serious to take that serious. You can't. You must enjoy being. That's the issue. And the only way you do that is relax. Relax. Let it be okay. Let all these things just and free you. Free you. Being raised a black child in the South long, long time ago. The issue was freedom. Freedom. You got to fight for your freedom. You got to fight for your freedom. Well, I did that, and I became angrier and angrier and angrier until the awakening came, and I realized the freedom is in me. Stand up. Go where you want to go. Do what you want to do. If you die, you die. If somebody else dies, that's okay too. But you got to stand up and be. The freedom was, becoming free was in me. And an interesting thing happened. Once I stood up and became free, everything just went shoo. All these weird people that I remember walking through a bunch of skinheads one night. Said, "Get the hell off the sidewalk." Walk right through. If I had known that. You see, something happens that makes a difference. Something happens that changes your life. It changes you. So freedom is inside of you. Freedom is inside of you. You become free of what? The things that restrict you. This is, let's mispronounce this word now, heaven. The true pronunciation of the word was leaven, to rise. To rise in consciousness. To rise in consciousness. And when you do that, you are no longer afraid to live. You're no longer afraid to die. Have a good time, 'cause it's all right. It's all right. It's all right to live, guys. To live totally, to be a wild thing. That's what you become, a wild thing. A true wild thing. When I say a true wild thing, that doesn't mean weird. It just means without the restrictions that you carry. But the intelligence. See, we should make intelligent decisions. Not decisions because they are drummed into us. And what is natural when the energy flows free of all these restrictions? What is natural is the goodness of your being. That's natural. The goodness of your being. To treat your fellow human beings as though you are civilized. Remember, I didn't say they are civilized, as though you are civilized. Understand what I'm saying? To treat every situation with love and with care. Not with self-pity. And these kinds of things. To treat every situation wholly or whole. Whole. Not this traditional meaning of the word or thought of the meaning of the word holy, which means glowing in the dark or something like that. You're not going to glow in the dark. Okay? If somebody had said to another person, "Come on, let me introduce you to this wise man," and the kid walked up to me and said, "Say something wise." How about get the hell away from me? Is that wise enough for you? Get away. Could I have some? Yes, thank you. Not the traditional beliefs of things. Your mind must be open to hear the newness of things. Be open to hear what the Buddhas and the Christ and all these people have said for thousands of years. They were just people who came to a point of that natural goodness within their beings. If they were not just people, then what they said was a lie. In that all people can have this. That's what they said. Well, were they something else, then they weren't people, and that's not true. But they were saying it, that this is salvation, to save yourself from yourself, to save yourself from your habits. And we've all had them. We've all had them. So that's the issue. To live free. To live free. Free. Now, I am a victim of an attitude just as you are. When we deal with these issues, these things in here, we're a victim of habit, of low vibrational habit. I just happen to be a victim of the habit of freedom. Real freedom. Not the pretense. See, now you can't pretend, because the moment you pretend, it jumps up and bites you in the butt. The moment you start to pretend, everyone can see that you don't know. Everyone. You're saying this and Stevie is going to Ray. You see that, Ray? Yeah, I saw it, Stevie. Everybody can see it. Okay? So it has to be real. This is for real. You can't pretend. You cannot pretend. It's as simple as that. If you truly want something for yourself, if it's this freedom that you want for yourself, it's got to be real. You've got to let go. And as you go into your meditation, each thing that comes up, you recognize it, you accept it for what it is, and it goes away. And you will go deeper and deeper and deeper. And there are, I don't like this word, levels of consciousness. They are not. There are restrictions set up by belief systems. How can you have levels in no thing? You can't, because it's no thing. So it's like you are in a soap bubble. Your belief system are a series of soap bubbles, smaller, larger, 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 larger. The only difference between you and all that is, we may call it God, you can call it whatever you want. It doesn't make any difference what you call it. It's what it is. Now, I am not so smart, so I don't know what to call it. It's just what it is, okay? Each time you break one of those belief systems, it's like popping one of those soap bubbles. And you move. So you haven't really gone anywhere. You've just recognized. To cognate, to bring into one's consciousness. To recognate. To bring it back. It's there. It's always been there. You just looked a different direction. So, now, as we let go, different things happen. We began to understand incarnational lives. I didn't say reincarnate. Okay? Because it all that is, all that is. Does that make sense? Now, I'm not talking to you as a philosopher, I'm talking to you as a physicist. I'm not talking to you from the mouth of Yeshua or Buddha. I'm talking to you from the mouth of Albert Einstein. Okay? And Buddha. And Yeshua. Because they all recognize the same thing. All that is present. Now what keeps you from touching it? One of those belief systems that this is it. And that's okay, because this is what you were taught. This is what you had to do in order to exist within this reality by being born into it. By physically being born, the instrument being actually born into it, the instrument. This. What is in you, what you are, has never been born, it has never died. It is no thing. No thing. Only things can die. Only things can be born. So how do we find these other places? As you meditate, you will find yourself doing something and you may get a glimpse of your face and go, whoa, I really look different. Boy, these breasts are really nice. Wow. Whoa. Oh, that's me. Oh, my God. You must embrace the humor of being. It's a tremendous, the whole thing is a big joke. It's not unreal, but it carries humor. So you have to be willing to embrace that. Humor is a part of the joy of being alive. Humor. You've got to be able to laugh at yourself. You've got to be able to laugh at the experiences that you have and allow those belief systems to crumble. And when the last one finally crumbles, you see who you are. And you see that there's only been one all along. You just fooled yourself into thinking that you were less than you are. Someone told you it was blasphemous to think that you are God. Well, the person that told you that didn't know. It's as simple as that. Again, let go. As they burst, as they burst, as they burst, you will see all kinds of things. All manner of things. Power unlike you can imagine. And the thing that keeps that power in check is the natural love that is what you are. The natural love. Let's take Joshua the night before being taken away. He was in the wilderness wrestling with the devil. He's up there looking down on the lights in the city and said, you know, man, there's a lot of money down there. I could have all. He's dealing with his power. I could go down there, and there's a lot of women down there. Oh, man, I could. He's wrestling with the devil. Now, remember the definition that we gave you of the old word devil. Doubt. Not some boogeyman. He wasn't wrestling with some guy in a red union suit with a pitchfork. He was wrestling with his doubt. You know, guys, you know. As a young man, the first thing you wanted power for was what? To get women. Why did you want to get money? To get women. So you had power to get. You know? The wrestling with the structures inside. And finally saying, no. I got other places to go and I got other things to do. Let it go. And then seeing who he was, of seeing it, experiencing it, the fullness of that. Well, man, I got to go over here and die now. Man, really don't want to do this, but okay. All right, here we go. Let's do this. Let's get it on. The recognition of yourself, the getting on with your life. With your life. Recognizing the doubts. Letting them go. Being joyful about who you are, because that's a natural part of what you are. That's a natural part of that which is not physical. Now there's a physical joy of the body. Yes. The idea, if you will look at the Sphinx, the pyramid, that is a sentence. As in noun, verb, whatever makes a sentence. A sentence like that. You have the Sphinx, which is a lion's body with a man's head, facing the east. What the sentence is that the light raises the consciousness of the animal spirit higher to the consciousness of man. That's all it says. We've been trying to figure this out for years. Let's see now. There are X number of blocks in this thing. Read the damn sentence. The light raises man above his animal self, so that there's a joy in both. There's a joy in riding around in the vehicle you're riding around in. It has its natural joy, but its natural joy through the habitual process overcomes the joy of the spirit, because we don't recognize that joy, because we're too focused otherwise. So, as we go deeper, not deeper actually, but as the belief bubbles burst and leave us more and more awake, more and more conscious, until the final come down, you know who you are. Now you're going to have a good time. You're going to have a real good time, because now life changes. Things happen for you that haven't happened for you before. And you'll be amazed at how easy they are. Amazed. But if you don't do that, you'll never get to the depth of yourself. Now you do the same thing at night before you go to bed. You suggest to yourself that you will remain conscious. And I use the word conscious. I used to use the word awake. But then there are all these people coming to me. I was going to sleep and I realized I had to wake up, so I woke up. It's like, no. So now we use the word remain conscious. And you've had those moments when you've heard somebody snoring and you go, who is that? And there's nobody there but you. You were conscious. Just had to accept that consciousness. That is what keeps you from dividing the world up. When you break through these things, you realize the wholeness from the word holy. It's a different understanding of what that word means. Because we have a different understanding, because those people who talked about it and presented it in the way they didn't understand what it means. In order to talk about something, to really talk about it, you have to understand it. Okay? You can't explain to me what it's like to get busted upside the head unless you've been busted upside the head. And then you can give me a pretty good idea. I remember devising a great defensive move. I was a linebacker, and this tackle and this end, I looked at them and I knew exactly what they were going to do. One was going to go after my legs and the other one was going to go after me up top. I'll dive right between them. Well, I did. There was a fullback coming through the hole. And I remember somebody saying to me, "What day is it?" I knew it was Thursday, but I kept saying Thanksgiving. Bam! I know what's right, but somehow something else keeps coming out. So, one of the things that happens is if we don't have the experience of something, we don't know what it is, we can't convey that message. Well, I'm conveying the message to you. At some point you become whole. Holy. See, we have this thing about religion that is this woo. It's real. It's real. We are afraid. Why? Because the energy comes up in us and we don't know what to do? Well, I call it exciting. It's exciting. The excitement comes up. What am I going to do? I don't know, but I'm going to do something. And I'm going to do it with joy. I'm going to enjoy it, whatever it is. Whatever it is. Wow, okay. Eyes open, eyes alert. You don't want to be one of these old people with dull eyes. Why? Someone says to me, "You don't act 70. Okay. What does 70 act like? I act like someone that has light in them, that has life in them. Even when I'm trying to get along. Okay? Because the energy is there and it makes me feel good. Now, when I get focused on the lack of flow of energy, I don't feel good. Simple. When life flows through you, you're alive. Doesn't matter how old you are or how old you're not. Doesn't matter male or female. Doesn't matter race, color, or creed. None of that matters. None of that is relevant to anything that's real. Doesn't matter that your parents told you were a stupid moron. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It only matters if you believe it. And then I guess you really are a stupid moron if you believe that crap. You believe you're stupid? I guess you are. You can't be. All the evidence points to intelligence. All the evidence in your life points to your intelligence. That you are intelligence, not you are intelligent. It is a natural part of your free form, your free being. It is what it means to be whole, to be able to see the whole of things. And if you can see the whole of things, you can live. You can live. When you know the rules of the game, you can play. If you don't know the rules of the game, you can't play. You cannot play. You just become fodder. That's all. For someone else to play with. No. Everything changes when you know who you are. Now, knowing who you are is not a definition. See, that's the tricky part. You're going to want to define yourself. Well, I am... Yeah, shut up. All you're doing is asking to be smacked down again. You can never be what you think you are. All you can be is what you are. All you can do is be it. And let that be fine. Let that be fine. Well, I have to determine, kids, I'm looking for who I am. Well, what they're doing is putting definitions on themselves. Boy, those definitions are going to get you smacked down every time. It's going to hurt. Every time something or someone shows up and shows you that's a lie. By their behavior, by their action. It's going to hurt. But that's okay. Take the hurt and realize why you got the hurt. Because you were lying about who you were. Who am I? I don't know. I have no idea who I am. I know that I am. I have no definition. That left. I got tired of getting my feelings hurt. Trying to be Superman. All that kind of crap. Macho man. Whatever all that was. Enough already. Oy. Enough already. Jesus. The load is too heavy. I've got to stand up. When I don't feel like standing up to some crap, why can't I just be who I am? First thing, let me find out who I'm not. I'm not all the things that I've built up, these things, these conditions that come up into my consciousness as I meditate or as I go to sleep. So, as you touch them, you have to let them go. And sit. And the next thing comes. And then the visions start to come. Wow. You start to see things moving toward you. And what's the first thing you do? Habitually, you move your eyes to see what it is, and it's gone. most often you'll see colors coming. Well, these colors are nothing more than the vibrational frequency of things. We can call them realities, you can call it whatever you want to call it. You have to let it come. And let it embrace you, because the moment you reach for it, it will be gone. The moment you habitually turn your eyes toward it, it's gone. So now the discipline, the softness of the discipline comes in just by sitting and letting it come. You see it. You don't have to look at it. You will see the whole thing because you're not seeing with your eyes. You're seeing with what they call in the East the third eye. I don't know anything about all that. All I know is if you don't move your eyes, you see it. I don't know what you call it. I read somewhere that's what they call it. You see, with me, it was not, I had no lineage, so I have no language of lineage. And the thing that made it obvious that everything that I saw was true because I had no lineage. And then there were all these things that the Buddha and that the Yahshua and all these people talked about. It's like, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah. That's the proof. I had no lineage. But at the same time, it allowed me to say that there's no word for any of it. That's the truth, because the moment you start trying to define it in terms of words, you get lost in some crap that has nothing to do with anything. Nothing to do with anything except ego. The idea is to understand it, to be it. And when you are it, you know and you see. And that doesn't mean you have to walk around the world, well, hi boys and girls, I'm it. Yeah, right. Then you can just live your life. Just walk around, have a good time, laugh, joke. Don't say anything, whatever. Whatever. Because that's the whole idea of being in the world, is to enjoy it. The end of one thing is always what? The beginning of something else. But if you stay with that ending your whole life, here you are, dragging around something that's been dead I don't know how long. And you wonder what that smell is. Why is everything just, ooh? It's because you're dragging that carcass around with you. Let that crap go. Move to the next thing. It expands you. It lets you know something different. I had an old psych teacher who was a blind man. Told me, he says, son, I was married to one woman for 14 years and I learned one thing. I said, what's that, sir? What I didn't want in a woman. So you... So you learn a lot. You learn a lot about what you don't want. Okay? Then once you learn what you don't want, then you can find what you do want. Then you can find what you do want. But you got to have the right attitude. You can't have the attitude, oh God, he's gone, she's gone, they're gone. Yep, they're gone all right. See ya. Hey, how are you? What's up? The next stage of your life. The next stage of your life. Okay? That is when we approach it with an open mind, letting go of the habitual processes. That insecurity, that first thing that you learned when you sprung from the womb was insecurity. You've been dragging that with you forever. Stop it. That's going to be the big one. Of course, you don't know what's going to happen in the next moment. So keep your eyes open. Be excited by it. Or duck. You may have to do that. Be excited. You ever watch an animal when they get excited? They're just pure, unadulterated joy. You know, Carol has 2 dogs. I come in. Samantha comes and she jumps up on her hind legs. It just, hey, how you doing? How you doing? What you doing? How's your day? How's your day? My day was great. And the other dog, the male, he can't get to me, so he just, instead of jumping up on 2 legs, he just jumps up with all 4 legs, straight up in the air. Hey, my turn. Hi. See, you got to have that kind of joy about being alive. I don't mean you have to jump up and down in the air. No, I wouldn't do that. Not at this point in the game. Once you get to the point in the game where you don't care about what anybody thinks, I pay. Well, what I'm saying about that is at this point in the game, one of the things you have to learn to do is use that energy that is freed in your body by just relaxing and letting it flow and not dissipate it. See, that's the key. Through our actions, we dissipate. We dissipate a lot of that energy that needs to flow up the body through the, as they call them in the East, chakras. I don't know what that means, but I just know they're points that this energy moves through that changes you. And once you let that happen, it opens a lot of doors as you relax and just let all this energy just be there. You just sit and just feel it. Talk about feeling good for no reason. You don't need a reason to feel good because it feels good just to be you. It feels good to be you. Do you think that word that, I don't know, people call God or Allah, or whatever all the words are, do you think that is, oh God, oh man, what a day? No. The joy of creation, the joy of being. This is how you create life differently. You create the situations around you joyfully. But you got to stop dissipating it with so many unnecessary things. You have to learn to sit still. There's a calm in the eye of the hurricane. All of a sudden, the wind is howling, ooh, and things are flying around, and suddenly, whew, it's absolutely silent. It is the same. It is the same. It becomes absolutely silent. It's called peace. You still see all the crap. Just, yeah, okay. Peace. Quiet. No matter what's going on, the peace is there. Peace is a real thing. It's a real quality that exists in what you naturally are. So, anytime when you're going into your meditation or you're going to sleep, I'm going to remain conscious. So I will become conscious in my dreams tonight. At some point, you'll get it, and it will happen. And you'll see that there's no real distinction between any of the realities or any of the worlds. You'll see that there's no real distinction. And some of the things that you've often thought of as not real become very real. It enables you to live life easily. Because as long as you think that this is it, it's a hard road to hoe. That night when it all happened for me, Peggy Lee started to sing, "Is that all there is?" She was nowhere around, but that was one of the questions. Is this it? Is this all there is? You mean I got to wake up every day miserable chasing money, chasing women, chasing whatever it was I was chasing. That can't be. That can't be it. It cannot be. Why? Because it's a miserable existence. That was an honest question. Honest answers began to come. An honest question. I get questions all the time that I don't answer because they're not honest questions. They're not honest questions. They're just, well, let me see, what can I think of to ask him? I realize maybe I should ask him something. Well, if you don't have a question, don't ask me. Let me see here now. Let me make this up real quick. You're not doing your work. You have to do your work. You have to know for yourself. Remember what I said. Don't take my word for any of this. To take my word would be stupid. You take the principles that are given, apply the principle, and then you know for yourself. Then we both know, and then we can just kind of look at each other with this stupid look on our face and have a good laugh about it. Go on about our lives. This is what it means. It's about each individual gaining it for themselves, because that's the only thing that will free you. The only thing that will free you is you. Because the only thing that has you locked up is you. You have to question everything. If that God that you think of cannot be questioned, then it's not worth its salt. Okay? It's not worth it. If you look honestly, all you can find is the truth. That's all you can find. In New York, I did a lecture at this, big thing. I've forgotten what it was. And at the moment I said something about, let the Spirit come in. The door went, and people started leaving. It's like, okay, well, let's get out of here now. So I ended up with a smaller crowd that was there. Weird. Look, there is a tendency by some to make this this kind of thing not superstitious. There's another word, mystic, to make this mystical. People who try to make it mystical don't know. This is a real pragmatic thing. It's a real thing. If you do this, this happens. If you do this, this happens. Try any science in the world. Chemistry, water, H2O. It doesn't matter. 2 handfuls, 2 tablespoons full of hydrogen, 1 of oxygen. It doesn't matter. 2 buckets, 1 bucket. Doesn't matter. Put them all together, put a spark, you get an explosion in water. Don't forget the explosion. Okay, you get the explosion and water. Yeah. It's the truth. It's real. You'll get it if you honestly try. And the only thing that I'm trying to do is to help you understand that, because I know what happened. I know I know what happens on the other end of that. Otherwise, I don't care. And that's the truth. I don't care about BS. I honestly don't care about BS. I don't. You can't make me. I used to. I used to care about it. When I was doing all the psychological work with people. Now my son. So it's, now the hell with that. Look, here's the truth, man. You want to deal with this, deal with it. You don't want to deal with it. As the guy said to Alexander, Alexander's lying by the stream naked, and the guy's laying by the stream naked. Along comes Alexander. What are you doing? I'm laying here in the sun, naked. Oh, I wish I could do that. Well, take off your clothes and lie down. But I've got to go conquer the world. Then get out of my sun. Stop blocking the sun. Go ahead, conquer the world. That's my feeling. Go ahead, conquer the world. Go ahead. Live with all that crap. Live with that misery. Doesn't matter to me. You are miserable. That person who is having the misery is miserable. If you don't care, what do you want from someone else? What do you want from somebody else? I love football. Oh, man. See those guys cracking each other? I used to do that. And one day I realized I'm an educated man. I don't have to do this. This hurts. Man, that sucks. But I will watch somebody else do it all day. All day from sunup to sunset. I'll sit right there and watch them. But I am not going to do it. It hurts. You ever been hit in the back by a 300-pound guy? Running a 4.740? It's one of those things you go, I am intelligent. 205 pounds, 300 pounds. There's something about the physics of this. So it's the same thing. There's something about the pain of this, the ignorance of this. No. I'll watch somebody do it all day. I just don't want to play. That's not my game. It's not my game. And that will be the same for you. Then you begin to choose differently in your life. You begin to look at people differently. You begin to, when that man says, baby, I'm no good. Listen to him. Listen. He just told you, oh, I can change that. No, you can't. No, you can't. Or vice versa. You begin to see life differently. And you begin to deal with it differently. You create your own reality. Now there are many things that you're going to find as you go through this. You're going to find the 7 vibrational stages of humanity, of man. And they are 7. You can start with mineral, vegetable, animal, on up and to the Godhead, whatever that means. But as you go through them, you have to see them for what they are, purely. Purely. You can't get caught in any one of them. See them all. Once you get on a roll, keep rolling. Don't stop. You have to stay the course. What is there in life to be afraid of? Nada. Nothing. Nothing. Why would, here's that word, God be afraid of its own creation? That doesn't make any sense, does it? You are the creator. So what are you afraid of? Things are going to happen that are unusual. Okay? Don't run because it's unusual. Oh, okay. What is this? Wow. Oh, man. What does that mean? And let the answer come. What does it mean? Let the answer come. This is how you learn. There is nothing to be afraid of. Nothing. If you are afraid, then you misuse that energy. You misuse the energy. At this point in my life, as injured as this body is, as old as it is, when the energy comes up, something happens, I react just as quickly as I always did, which amazes me. And that's a part of the joy of going, damn, wow, oh, yeah. Okay, we jumped that hurdle, all right. It's the same as, there was this agricultural teacher when I was a kid, and he was growing watermelon. He grew some of the best watermelons in the county. And my buddy and I, being teenage boys, we were stealing them. He had Doberman pincers. Well, we looked up and there they were. He actually jumped that fence and never dropped a watermelon, one under each arm. How can this be? Motivation. Motivation. Two big Dobermans closing in on you. The energy. You'd be amazed at what you can do when the energy is present. But you have to be willing to allow it to do what it does. And it is focused by your focus. What is your intent? What is your intention? Wow. There's a man that used to live down the hall from me who had one of his legs cut off because he was diabetic. He had the leg cut off and he was feeling about that, and guess what? Cured his diabetes. He said, hell, if I'd known that, I wouldn't have had my leg chopped off. But the thing about it was the energy and the remorse of it, and he finally let that go. And it can carry you through. It can help you through. Well, now you have to understand, nobody's meant to live forever. Okay? Yes, that's like, there's going to come a time when there's going to be, who is it? Land shark. Pizza. That's going to happen. And that's okay. It should happen. It's supposed to happen. That's okay. Will there be missing? Yes. Yes. But that's the way it goes, guys. You live, you die. The moment you are born guarantees that you will die. It says something about the way you should live life in between. For your sake, not for somebody else's, for your sake. What in the world is wrong with being happy? What is wrong with that? Now we can talk about some of the actions that we perform because we get out of control. Because we're not using our intelligence, because we're using old habits. The joy. Now you have that meditation of sitting, looking at the wall and not moving. That is designed to get the energy moving in your body. It is designed for that purpose. When you feel joyful, be still. Be still. Let it fill your body. Let it make the cells of your body joyful. You'll feel good. It won't make you stupid. One of the greatest joys I've ever had was kicking another guy's butt. Because it wasn't done with malice. The energy was there and it's like, oh boy. Let me see this technique. If I do this, wow, man, look at that. Don't fall, stand up. Come on. Now If we're going to play, let's play. I thought you wanted to play. Oh, no, I don't want to play anymore. No. Little exaggeration, but what I'm saying to you, no matter what life brings you, you must be joyful about it. If you have to defend yourself, the problem is with malice. That's the difference. You create joyfully. It makes a difference. You know, after you rip them, you teach them. You know, it's like, hey, you know, we didn't have to do all that. So if you live your life with malice, you're going to make a lot of enemies. You're going to make those anyway. Because I can think of people who some very hard things happened to because they were kind. But that's okay. You can't let them beat you. You can't let them beat you. You cannot let that determine how you feel about yourself. And it has to be real. But feeling that energy is what makes it real. Because that energy is what you are. It is the translation of your spirit into a physical world. That's what it is. That's all it is. You just have to determine what you want. And you got to be willing to take that path or take that road that others haven't traveled. For whatever reason. Doesn't mean you can't participate in the world and in the society. They don't have to know who you are. They don't have to know who you are. Okay? You have to know who you are. And be fair with people. Play the game. Play the game. It's okay. If you are playing the game. If you're seriously into the game, you're going to be miserable. Just understand. That's all. Don't get caught. Because we were born into families and raised by mothers and fathers, there are certain things that we want out of others. We want them to treat us a certain way. It ain't going to happen. Your mother and father didn't want to treat you that way. They had to because you were their kid. Look, you treat you that way. They don't know who they are. How in the hell are they going to know who you are? I forget, somewhere we were in Brooklyn and somebody said something to me and one of the people there said, "Don't you know who he is?" And I looked at her and said, "He doesn't know and he doesn't care." Why should he care? But you are... No, I'm just another guy passing through with a little bit more information about some things that many people have. That's all. Now, all this to say, as you meditate or as you go to sleep, just relax. Let whatever comes up, come up. Release it. Let it go. And just watch. Ultimately, all of that will stop. And who you are will be obvious. I'd like to thank you for your time. Enjoy.